Jody bolted for the hatchway. On deck, she hurried to join her father at the rail, where he was gazing out to sea, along with her mother and the twins. What she saw took her breath away. It was a whole school of dolphins, moving so rapidly it was impossible to say how many there were. 30, 50, more. Dark fins dotted the waves, and sleek, leaping grey bodies leaped here and there, back and forth. It was an amazing sight. The twins were shouting with excitement. Jody made room for Maddie and Cam, who'd also come rushing over. Even Dr. Taylor had come up on deck to see what all the fuss was about. Harry Pierce, at the helm, gave a roar of laughter. Honestly, if I didn't know better, I'd say you were a bunch of tourists. Through her excitement, Jody felt guilty, and she saw from the rueful look her parents exchanged that they felt the same. Jimmy said, "We're going up front, okay?" "Forward," said Sean. "The word is forward." "Go ahead," said Craig, "but be careful. I'm not sure I'll be able to convince Harry to go back for you if you fall in." "I'm going down for my camera," said Gina. "This is too gorgeous." Jody stared in wonder as 3 dolphins all leaped out of the water in different parts of the group, slapping the water with their tails, then diving down again. "What are they doing?" Only when Brittany spoke did Jody realize the other girl had also come on deck and was now standing between her and Dr. Taylor. "They're feeding," Craig replied. "At this distance, it is hard to be certain, but I would guess that they've trapped a school of fish. They do that by forcing the fish upwards against the surface of the water. Some of the dolphins will be swimming back and forth underneath to keep the fish trapped, while others take turns snatching a mouthful. Still other dolphins will chase back any of the fish that manage to break away." Gina returned with her camera and began filming. Under the captain's skillful control, they were sailing nearer to the dolphin group. In this picture, it is lunchtime for the dolphins. "Why do they jump up and slap their tails?" Brittany asked. "That wouldn't stop the fish from getting away." Jody was curious about this too. Perhaps it's joyful behavior, she thought, a way of expressing excitement at finding so much food. Her mother gave them a more scientific explanation. "Slapping the water makes a loud, sharp sound," she said. "Loud noises frighten the fish, making them gather together into a tighter ball instead of trying to get away." "So dolphins aren't just these totally sweet and friendly little angels," said Brittany. "Of course not," objected Dr. Taylor, sounding shocked. "Dolphins are predators. They are hunters." Jody knew Brittany's comment was aimed at her. "They all have to catch the fish to live," she said defensively. "They have to eat, just like we do. But they only kill fish and squid and things like that," she added, eager to impress upon the other girl that dolphins weren't to be feared. Jody had noticed 2 or 3 seagulls hovering over the feeding dolphins. More appeared out of the blue until there was a screaming mob of birds darting towards the water, then flapping up again, sometimes with fish in their beaks. "Hey, look, the birds are stealing the dolphins' lunch," Cam laughed. "Not exactly," said Craig. "Some of the fish try to escape by leaping into the air. Those are the ones the birds pick off. Plenty for all. You'll often find seabirds following a school of dolphins, just waiting for a chance like this." After a few more minutes, the birds flew away and the dolphins began to leave. Feeding time was over. Jody and the others watched as the sleek, leaping, grey-finned bodies swam farther out to sea and were gradually lost to sight. Jody sighed. She had been holding her breath, hoping the dolphins would come their way. She wondered if Apollo had been part of that big group. She knew that one of the reasons dolphins travelled in herds was that it made hunting easier. They could get more fish by working together than they could alone. It would be a hard life for Apollo if he was on his own. For lunch, there was fresh warm bread, cheese, and gazpacho, a cold vegetable soup. Between hungry bites, Jody paused briefly to ask, May, did you ever see dolphins when you were in China? May Lin nodded. Once only, but it was not like your dolphins. I was lucky enough to see a baiji. What is a baiji? Sean demanded. It is the rarest dolphin in the world, Craig explained, for the benefit of all. It's found only in parts of one river in China. Really, Maylin? Said Gina in surprise. You actually saw a baiji? Yes, I think so. I was only a little girl at the time, and it was early in the morning and very misty. I was traveling with my parents in a boat on the Yaztes River. I heard a sound like a sneeze from the water, and I looked over the side and saw a smooth greyish animal with a long skinny nose swimming away. My father said this was one of China's national treasures, but later I was told by someone else that it could not have been a baiji that I saw. It must have been only a porpoise, because the baiji are too shy to let themselves be seen. I don't know. My father was not an expert, but I like to think we saw a baiji. You were very lucky if you did, said her mother. It's been a protected species since 1975, but there are probably less than 50 left today. The Yangtze is one of the busiest waterways in the world, and as the baiji won't live anywhere else, there's not a lot that can be done to save them. Gina's words made Jody feel gloomy. She knew that all over the world, cetaceans, both dolphins and whales, were at risk, but usually there was something that could be done to help the various species to survive. Commercial whaling could be stopped, destructive fishing methods changed, pollution controlled. People's effort could make a major difference. The oceans were vast, and most dolphin species numbered in the thousands, but for an animal whose habitat was restricted to a part of one river, the future did not look bright. Even declaring a protected species was probably not enough. There was only one thing that could have cheered Jody's glooming thoughts, and it actually happened. Dolphins approaching. Port and starboard sides. Harry's voice came bellowing down the deck like a foghorn. The McGraths and Maddie abandoned their food and made a dash for the deck, Jody ahead of them all. At the front of her mind was one thought: Apollo. He had come back. And that will be all for chapter 7.